Hello, my name is Lara Law, student ID 5036701. I am showcasing my task D1 distinction task for SIT112 analysing YouTube video data from news publishers. I chose COVID-19 because it was already set up and it gave me time to focus on my data preparing and cleaning. I analysed the YouTube data from comments and videos from 4 news channels: Fox News, BBC News, CNN and MSNBC. You'll see here there's some video channel IDs as well. I focused on questions that related to the latest comments over time, the latest likes over time, the top 10 comments with the most replies. I also prepared and analysed the data using various visualization tools. I set up everything first, creating a Google Cloud profile that identified me, and then I organised to set up a YouTube data API and an API key. I put that into credentials INI, which you can see there, and that meant that I didn't hard code the API secret key to my notebook, but had it safely in a separate file. This API key gave me the credentials that I needed to talk with the YouTube service, as well as my YouTube API. I was able to then extract the data, and that was through code that had been set up in the collect notebook file. So the collect notebook file collected the data, and then from that, looking at the API key, was able to generate 2 CSV files, comments and videos CSV, and those 2 files are where the data comes from that I've used to showcase my work today. So let's have a look at what I've done. I've copied from the collect notebook these code in B settings. I then imported some libraries so that I was able to perform my visualization and so that my code would run smoothly. And I organized to clean my data, of course. Now, we had the preset clean data, which basically focused on date and time and year, as well as duration of the video. So then that kind of set it up well, because we were focusing on COVID-19 and that time period, and videos and comments from the videos of that time period. So then I did some cleaning as well so that I could make the data tidy, ready for display. So I created the data frame there that you can see, reading the CSV files. I created a copy as well of the data frame in case it got damaged. I removed duplicate and missing IDs here with drop duplicates for performing normalization. I also normalized the text by taking out the white strip and making sure all the text was lowercase. I took out the URLs, HTML and MJOIS, further normalization, and ensured that the numeric columns were numeric so that everything counted properly, as you can see here. and then after that I did some work on my question. So I chose E13. I had 3 questions to do, and so this was my first one. And so I assigned comments to event periods. So because we're looking at COVID-19, and you'll see that I did a bar plot. I'll show you that now. So you can see there that I've got code for my visualization, and here it is. So you can see here that the highest spike is related to the European lockdown, and so people had the most comments when it related to them personally, and I have the red words here, and that I had to make sure they were spaced correctly and showing on the correct rotation. So I adjusted that 100 there to make sure that all spaced right. And then you can see that over the rest of the time there wasn't much of a spike, so it was mainly all related to the lockdowns, not to do really with the announcements or anything. And so I've listed that there in my observations, as you can see as well. So then we went to E14. How are the parent comments likes distributed across the news channels? So you'll see here that one of the things that I needed to do was for MSNBC, it wasn't showing properly in my title, Fox and other news publishers. So although it says channel title here, when that was being read from the data set actually has the data of MS Now and not the correct publisher title. So what I had to do was I had to reference the cell above so that it would read from the channel names rather than the data set like you would normally do. So up the top here you'll see that I see how it's got these names here. So that code below that you just saw references this cell and picks out the titles of the news publishers from here rather than from the data set in the data column. So we'll just go back down and we'll have a look at this other question. So yeah, see, that's where it's got the channels. I also did some more normalization here by filtering out the extreme likes, and so and merging the videos to get the channel information so that the comments matched with the publisher, which I've done here. And so there we go. Let's have a look at the plot itself. So I did a violin plot, and that was really interesting. The grey is the violin, which is likes, and there was pretty much 0 likes across the board. I've overlaid it with a strip plot that's showing the navy little comment lines. So it showed that people were wanting to be more engaged with communicating with comments rather than clicking a like button. And I've listed that there in my observations again. And then, of course, we went through the last one, which was E2. And this one was also interesting. I did this code here to get the top 10 comments and sorting the values, and I shortened the comment text to 50 characters so that it was much easier to read in the plot. I used a lollipop plot, and there we go. We can now see that down here. Looks very pretty. And then you can see there that the channels are listed properly. It was MSNBC and so forth. So we had the highest comments as 80, and pretty much the top few are all MSNBC comments from subscribers, showing that those subscribers for NBC were the most engaged, and it was a political comment about Trump was the very top comments, so which was a bit surprising because could have been other things to mention during COVID-19, but that set people's emotions off the most was political comments. And so you've got the most replies there, got the Y and the X-axis, and I've pretty much noted those observations as here. And yeah, I would say the obstacles that I had were what I'd already said was about the data set being incorrectly named. I hope you've enjoyed this and have a great night.